Arjun, a young man living in a small village near the Ganges River, goes about his daily routine. He is physically weak, morally ambiguous, mentally unfocused, and lacking in wisdom. He struggles with simple tasks at his family's pottery shop and gets into petty arguments with his neighbors. His parents worry about his lack of direction and purpose. During the annual village fair, Arjun's flaws become more apparent. He cheats at games, steals a small trinket from a vendor, and gets into a fistfight with another young man over a girl's attention. His actions, while relatively minor, cause ripples of discord throughout the fair, highlighting his undeveloped nature. A wandering monk named Bodhi arrives in the village, drawing attention with his serene demeanor and wise words. He speaks of karma and the importance of personal development. Arjun, intrigued but skeptical, listens from afar. When Bodhi mentions a great teacher living in a distant monastery, Arjun feels an inexplicable pull towards this unknown master. That night, Arjun has a vivid dream where he sees himself drowning in a small bowl of salty water. A voice tells him he must seek the great river to save himself. Upon waking, he realizes this is a sign that he must leave the village and find the teacher Bodhi mentioned. He feels both excited and terrified at the prospect of this journey. Arjun tries to ignore the call to leave, burying himself in his usual activities. He argues with his parents more fiercely than usual and indulges in excessive drinking at the local tavern. His behavior worsens as he attempts to convince himself that he doesn't need to change or leave his comfortable, familiar life. Arjun's resistance culminates in a major mistake. In a drunken state, he accidentally breaks a valuable vase at his family's shop and tries to blame it on his younger sister. When the truth comes out, he faces the disappointment and anger of his family and the entire village. Realizing the depth of his flaws, Arjun finally accepts that he must leave to seek guidance and change. Before leaving the village, Arjun seeks out Bodhi. The monk shares the parable of the salt in the water, explaining how a developed person can handle life's challenges better. He gives Arjun a small pouch of salt as a reminder and points him in the direction of the monastery. Bodhi's wisdom helps Arjun understand the purpose of his journey. Arjun says goodbye to his family and village, setting out on his journey with mixed emotions. As he walks along the road, he encounters an old woman struggling with a heavy load. Initially, he passes by, but remembering Bodhi's words about karma, he turns back to help her. This small act of kindness fills him with an unfamiliar sense of satisfaction. Arjun reaches a large city, unlike anything he's ever seen. He's overwhelmed by the sights, sounds, and smells. In the market, he's tempted to fall back into his old ways when he sees an opportunity to steal from a rich merchant. However, he resists, marking his first step into the special world of moral decision-making. In the city, Arjun meets Savi, a humble sweeper who surprises him with her joyful attitude despite her lowly position. She teaches him about finding contentment in one's work and the importance of cleanliness in body and spirit. Arjun begins to understand that wisdom can come from unexpected sources. Arjun accidentally bumps into a merchant's stall, causing some damage. The merchant flies into a rage, threatening Arjun with violence. Arjun must navigate this conflict, learning to take responsibility for his actions while also standing up for himself against undue aggression. This tests his emerging sense of virtuous behavior. Seeking refuge from the busy city, Arjun stumbles upon a peaceful meditation garden. Here he meets a group of practitioners who teach him the basics of meditation. As he struggles to quiet his mind, he begins to understand the challenge of developing mental discipline. He also makes his first friend on the journey, a fellow seeker named Maya. Arjun leaves the city, journeying towards the monastery. He must cross a treacherous mountain pass, testing his physical endurance. As he struggles with the difficult terrain, he reflects on how his lack of physical discipline has held him back in life. He begins to appreciate the importance of developing his body as well as his mind. Near the top of the pass, Arjun encounters a hermit living in a cave. The hermit challenges Arjun's understanding of karma, presenting him with ethical dilemmas that have no easy answers. These mental exercises prepare Arjun for the deeper spiritual challenges ahead. Expanding his capacity for wisdom, Arjun reaches a wide, fast-flowing river that he must cross to reach the monastery. As he struggles against the current, he remembers the parable of the salt in the Ganges. He realizes that this challenge represents his own transformation from a small, easily tainted bowl to a vast, resilient river. With this understanding, he finds the strength to cross. The night after crossing the river, Arjun faces his deepest fears and regrets. In a vivid nightmare, he confronts the consequences of his past actions and the person he used to be. This painful self-reflection brings him to the brink of giving up his journey, but ultimately strengthens his resolve to change. Arjun finally reaches the monastery, exhausted but transformed by his journey. He's welcomed by the master, who recognizes the change in Arjun. The guru praises Arjun's progress, but warns him that the real challenges are yet to come. Arjun realizes that reaching the monastery was not the end, but a new beginning. The guru gives Arjun his first formal teaching, expanding on the parable of the salt. He demonstrates how the same action can have different effects based on the development of the individual, using examples from Arjun's own journey. Arjun begins to truly understand the concept of karma and personal development. Arjun receives news that his village is suffering from a drought. Despite his desire to stay and learn more, he knows he must return to help. The guru encourages this, telling Arjun that true wisdom must be applied in the real world. Arjun sets out on the journey home, both excited and apprehensive about facing his past. On his way home, Arjun encounters many of the same challenges he faced on his initial journey. He returns to the city and meets Ravi, the merchant he had conflicted with before. This time, Arjun handles the interaction with grace and wisdom, turning a potential enemy into a friend. He realizes how much he has grown. Arjun arrives at his village to find it in dire straits due to the drought. Using his newfound wisdom and skills, he organizes the villagers to dig a new well and implement water conservation methods. His leadership and problem-solving abilities showcase his development in body, behavior, mind, and wisdom. Arjun reconciles with his family and the villagers he had wronged before his journey. He takes full responsibility for his past actions and makes amends. The village elders, seeing his transformation, ask him to take on a leadership role in the community. Arjun's internal growth is now reflected in his external circumstances. Arjun begins to share the wisdom he has learned, teaching the parable of the salt to the villagers. He uses examples from village life to illustrate the concepts of karma and personal development. The villagers, including those who once doubted him, become his eager students.